saying about part-time degrees and second, like to move on to sort of second degrees.
Yeah.
And the ELQ cut, which the Committee for Innovations, Universities, Sciences and Skills have said that it was threatening the viability of universities and that some students' fees would increase 200% because of this.
We disagree with their judgment on this. I mean, I respect the Select Committee, but on this one we disagree with their judgment. We've taken under a third of the money that goes for second degrees and redirected that over the next 3 years to people who've never had the chance to go to university. Now, sometimes you have to take choices. If somebody has already been publicly funded to get their first degree, should they take priority in getting a second degree publicly funded before the person who's never had the chance to go to university? Well, we say no, probably not. Now, we recognise that there are some very important jobs in the economy, in medicine, in other strategically important subjects, in science degrees, where the public interest is to pay for people to retrain. That's why 2/3 of the budget remains. But actually, we made a choice of priority and a choice of principle, and it's that the person who's never had the chance to go to university gets a priority over the person who's already been publicly funded for their first degree.
Okay, it appears odd to me that this decision was made to sort of to look at the funding of ELQs when every other discussion about fees says wait till next year, wait till next year. This seems to have been a rash and kind of almost unconnected decision to have made early.
The choice really is that had we delayed the decision for, say, 3 years, to the next spending review, till after the fees review, we would have denied tens of thousands of people who've never had the chance to go to university, That would have been the consequence of delaying, and we had to take a decision for which we are accountable as ministers, whether to delay or whether to do it now. And we felt that the right decision was to do the thing that created opportunities for people who wouldn't otherwise go to university.
Okay, we said about sort of looking into fees reviews. Where do you believe that students stand? You know, would you like to get students involved in decisions about their own fees? And
well, I'd like students to take part in the big national debate. We're stimulating about all aspects of their education, fees and finance, certainly the quality of their teaching, the quality of student life, the extent to which they feel that they're going to be employable when they leave university, all of those sorts of things. When I got this job, I created in my department the first ever Minister for Students. And it's rather odd that if you look back over all of history, there's never been a minister whose job was to listen to students, to understand what students thought, and to make sure those views are heard in the department. And I think it's very important that we do. We won't always be able to say yes, any more than you can say yes to any other interest group, whether it's pensioners or parents, whatever. But it's very important we know what students think and want and feel about their higher education.
So we've got a Minister for Students. Is there any other sort of procedures you put in?
There's a number of things. There's a Minister for Students, Baroness Morgan. She supports the National Student Forum, which brings together the NUS with other student groups like postgraduate and part-time students, international students. We have done citizens' juries up and down the country, but informally, ministers do what I've been doing today, which is to sit down when I come on a visit to university with students and say, tell me about the issues here. And the issues vary. They're not always the same in different universities, and that in itself is interesting.
And have you found anything interesting here since your time in Portsmouth? Have you found any particular areas?
What is really interesting here is just how positive people have been that I met about the quality of their experience here at Portsmouth. I wouldn't name other universities on camera, but I've been to other places where students have been much less happy with their overall experience. Here, overwhelmingly, I mean, people raised all the issues you'd expect, fees and all of those sorts of things, but what was really interesting was just how positive people were about this university and what they felt it offered its students. That was very striking.
Okay, where do you see students' unions fitting into the National Union of Students and then independent students' unions fitting into this whole debate? Is that a voice that's going to be listened to? Is that a voice that should be listened to?
Yes, it is. I mean, I was a student union president in my time at Southampton, so I believe in student unions. I think they are important. I think that with a with a increasingly diverse student population, there's a challenge for student unions to reach out to involve all students. It's relatively easy to bring together the group of students who are mainly young, mainly relatively recently at school, mainly living away from home in a body. It's much more of a challenge for all of the student bodies to reach out to the growing numbers of international students, to the part-time student who's trying to balance home life, work life, family life, and do their studies. But nonetheless, I think the student voice is very important. We like to listen to NUS, we've involved them in activities, and I also want to hear from local student unions.
I've just got one final question. You said that student unions are important, you believe this. I might be wrong, but recently, have you had your lifetime membership to Southampton University Student Union revoked? How do you feel about this?
This is a matter of debate. I was told I have, but I've since been told by a recent student union officer that the thing was never, the decision was never endorsed. Whether I am or not, I'm always made extremely welcome at Southampton University Students' Union, and I do work with the students there. And it was disappointing that I think for largely party political reasons people led a campaign against my name. I don't mind, I still listen to students, I still work with the Students' Union.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you.